And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're at my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady. Thought of you, thought of you.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're at my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady. Thought of you, thought of you.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady. Thought of you, thought of you.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady. Thought of you, thought of you.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady. Thought of you, thought of you.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady.
And I'm on a roll.
If the leaves turned blue and all the rivers dry, all I hear is you're my side. And when I think of you, all I can do is try to keep steady. Thought of you, thought of you.
All right. Hello, everybody, and good morning or afternoon or evening to you, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us here for another Makera live stream. My name is Jason from Makera. I'm the education director, and I'm super excited to be joined by a number of Makera team members, a lot of which are on the chat with us, who are keeping an eye on the comments and who'll be answering your questions. But as you can see, I have another team member here with me live. Roll up if you want to introduce yourself to everybody. How are you tonight, Roll up?
Very good, very good.
Right?
Yeah, it's in the middle. It's 1 a.m. here in South Africa, where I'm tuning in from. Right in between our Chinese staff that's also online in the chat, so they'll be keeping you onto the comments over there. And yeah, it's great to be here. My name is Rulof, for you guys that don't know. I am the technical. I work with the technical support team, and I'm also the user experience director for Makera. And it's great to be here. We're going to make some cool things today. We're going to make some stuff. That's what we're here for today. Very exciting. So I'm set up, as you can see behind me here, I've got 2 machines set up. We're going to be making some things. Last time we did a live stream, we started very basic. And I think you guys will kind of see, the more we do these live streams, the more comfortable we get with this whole setup, and then we will do more complex things. Today's project is still basic. But you can interpret it the way in many different ways, where you can make it a lot more complicated. But yeah, thanks for being here. I see the comment section is live already. It's great to see everybody tuning in from all around the world. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. That's always great to see. And yeah.
We're
right
stepping up our game.
Yeah.
We're going to be designing some stuff, as you saw from the promo. We're going to be making some cool bottle openers and things like that, and machining them live right here on this live stream. So we've designed them to be able to be be able to be manufactured in the time that we have. So we're pretty excited about that one. But before we dive in, before we make some stuff, a couple cool updates and things going on. Today is actually the first day of our Memorial Day and summer kickoff sale. So there's some cool promotions going on right now in the Makera store. And I'm going to look over here because I have it written down, make sure I get it right. So listen, you can save up to $1,427 US, right? So there's a lot of different promos going on right now, where you can save money on purchasing everything from the Carvera to the Carvera Air, as well as a bunch of accessories like the milling bits and things like that. So there's lots of different promos going on right now. And we're happy to say that for all of our folks tuning in with us, we have some additional savings that you can do. So if you enter the coupon code Makera as you check out from our store, you can take off an additional $100 US on your purchases there. And that is through the Memorial Day sale, which ends on May 27th. So lots of savings going on right now, which is super exciting to kick off the summer and warm weather season. And that's also why we're doing the bottle openers, right? To kind of kick off some fun things as we go. Yeah. And actually, we're going to cover a lot tonight. And listen, like every stream, we're going to go through things kind of quickly. So I want to make sure that you know that everything we show you is also going to be included in a tutorial video that's going to be on our YouTube channel. Of course, this live stream is being recorded and will be shared on the channel, but we're going to dive much deeper into some tutorials. So if you want to go back and revisit some of the stuff that we're showing, or even dive deeper into the tools and features that we just touch upon, we have some tutorial videos going on tonight. Not only for the bottle openers we're going to make, but for some other fun games like this launcher game that I created here, which is a fun tabletop game. It's this board that opens up here. I have to try not to spill it all out on my workbench. You can store these catapults in the board. And, you know, it's a nice, fun board where you can put some cups, if you know what I mean. If anyone's from the United States, I think this should feel like home, right? So you can put some cups on here, put your catapult in the board, and do some launching tabletop games. So this is another Memorial Day and summer themed sample project that we're going to publish in a tutorial video that you can find on our YouTube channel after tonight's stream. So
very cool.
Though. Give us a little bit more details here. What else is going on?
Yeah, so you know, I think, you know, we here already. You know, we did mention some giveaways. What we're going to do in this live stream is also obviously give you guys. There's some giveaways, there's some things, and I think we just let's get right into it. I see we already have about like 130 people on here, so that's great. Thank you for being here, everybody. And I think let's just hit the ground running and just do a giveaway already.
Yeah, I assume those of you that are here want some free stuff. So we have a couple different promotions, specifically 3 different prizes we're going to give away. And we're doing one right now, which is super ready. Awesome. So get your keyboards ready. In addition to typing in the keyword as Roloff gets this going here, you also need to do a couple other things. You have to subscribe to the Makera YouTube channel. Okay, so in order to win the prize, you have to be a subscriber. And then, of course, you can also follow us on our other socials at Makera Inc. for, you know, we're on Instagram, TikTok, all those fun things, Twitter as well, right? So, or X, I should say. But make sure in order to get these prizes, if you're a winner, you have to be a subscriber. So if you haven't already, press that subscribe button right now. So that way you can take some of these prizes. I was going to say home, but we'll mail them to your home if you're a winner after tonight, right? So what are we doing here, Roloff?
We got a few shirts up for grabs.
Awesome. So Makera shirts, first prizes. Yeah. So we're going to give
obviously
away
you guys can, whoever wins this, you know, you can talk to us if you already have an order with us or something like that, or recently ordered, or you're ordering something new, we can include that. So yeah, let's start this off. I'm going to just say hashtag Makera. So basically what you guys are going to do in the chat box, you say, hashtag Makera, and then you say the exact same thing in the chat box, and we're just going to randomly select some comments. So, and a winner. So let's start collecting comments.
Ready. Here we go. Keyword hashtag Makera, all lowercase, keeping it simple. Hashtag Makera, lowercase. There we go.
We have some people from Australia, from Canada,
we're spread out. There's
from
people
the Netherlands,
all over.
Pretty spread out. I'm glad I'm not the only one so early in the morning doing things.
Folks getting up early or staying up late here to join us, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
That's great
hashtag
stuff.
Makera lowercase. This is cool. We're getting a lot of entries, which is awesome. We are going to give away not just one shirt. We're going to give away 5 shirts, folks. 5 shirts. We are going to have 5 winners right off the bat here for this live stream. And of course, if you don't win,
I
we
think
have
I'm
a
going to
lot of
start.
other prizes coming your way.
I think I'm going to start drawing.
Yeah,
because we have so many to do. So I'm going to start drawing here.
let's see.
Let's
Who's
see
our
who takes the
first winner?
shirt home.
First winner of the night. Who's going to get a Makera shirt?
Pat L.
Congratulations, Pat L. You just won a free shirt that says
All right,
Makera on it.
Let's just
But
draw
we
it
have
again.
more. Here we go.
Roberto
Allegra. Yeah, Roberto Allegra. Congratulations. You also just won a Makera shirt.
Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
Here we go, folks. Again, hashtag Makera. Very welcome, Pat. Congratulations again. Greg Beal. I think that's how you say your name. Congratulations. You also just won a free shirt.
Nice. Let's keep it going.
Couple
For
more
number
here.
4.
Here we go. Yep. JJ, congratulations. Winner number 4. We have one more
let's run it
shirt to
back.
give away. Here
One
we
more
go.
time.
I'm going to do a drum roll for this one. It's the last one. I figured there were 5. I didn't want a drum roll for all of them. Lauren Fahey. Congratulations. Nice. Another free shirt. Awesome. So those are our first 5 winners. And now listen, to win this, guys, here's what you got to do. Remember, you have to be a subscriber. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We then need you to take a screenshot of your profile information for YouTube with this username, right? So that way we know it's you. And then you can email info@makera.com with not only your how we can get the shirt to you, shipping information, but in particular for the shirt, you can let us know your size too, right? So we can pick out the right size for you and send it your way. So congratulations to our first 5 winners, but not the only winners of tonight or this morning, right? Just the first 5. So we have some more prizes that we're going to be giving away. And as a reminder, everyone can get $100 off using the coupon code Makera in the Makera store until May 27th.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, of course.
I think let's get straight into making some things.
Yeah.
I think the project that we have today, I will open up. I'm first going to just run through the model or tell you exactly what we have going here. So basically, it's a bottle opener. You know, we are celebrating beer. We are celebrating Memorial. You know, outside, good weather. And basically, what I did here is it's a very basic design. Obviously, you can interpret this in many different ways. This is a 3D model that I just made up quickly. I also designed it in a way that we can actually manufacture it on the stream. You know, I can go super complex with this, but then the stream's going to be maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, which is a little bit long. I mean, as much as we like CNCs, you know, maybe you guys can say, you know, if we have like a full-on live stream where we're just milling things for like, maybe we're like a 24-hour live milling stream. How's that, Jason? What do you think of that?
I think that's something we'll put forward for the future here.
Yeah, maybe I'll put a bed down here as well, something like that. So it's just machines running. So basically, I kept it simple with this. It's a wooden piece. I didn't put any chamfers on it. It's just a cutout. And then I've got an aluminum piece, brass, or like a aluminum insert that just goes into this. And then that just gets screwed to this. Now, obviously, you can interpret this and change it. You can change this model. The models is available. That's on our wiki, so you can have a look at that. You can also find the DXF of these online. So you can, there's many ways that you can import this into the CAM software. You can either do it in a 2D file or you can do it in a 3D file. I'm going to focus on it as being 3D. Just to focus on that features in the CAM. But there is tutorials. Jason's putting things out to make this in 2D and also in 3D. So, you know, there's many ways that you can look at this. A cool thing that I also want to show you about this, if you're going into 2D, you can actually do this in 3D too. So this is just the top view of this model. Now, if I place this model, let's say, you know, and I put an offset here of 1/8 of an inch bit. So a cool thing, if you actually want to mold this double-sided, is you add an offset to the mirrored side of this part. And if you actually fit this in with the correct offset, you have an insert that's milled like this. So you can actually rotate this part and then place it into that cutout of the part, which actually makes it, a lot better to actually save materials. You don't have to cut jigs or the alignment pins. It's just a different method of doing a double-sided. But we're not going to focus on that. That's just a fun thing that I just wanted to show you guys that I actually figured out with this part. Excuse me. Okay, so let's get right into this 3D part. And I'm going to actually open up the CAM software. So first of all, as you can see what I did here, let's just go back to the model. What I did here is I actually drew in the size of the stock. Now, I already mounted my stock to the material. I already measured it. You have to make sure the thicknesses is 100% correct. If your thicknesses that you set up in your CAM software, that's not 100% accurate, then you're going to have either air cutting or things like that. So you have to make sure that these values are correct. Obviously, we're going into hardwood, and my width in X is 90 mil, and then in Y is 145, and then 20 mil thick. And then I'm just going to import the 3D model, the handle, open up, and there we go. Now, even if this, to move this around, I just hit M on my keyboard. It's just an easy way to just move things around. And then you can quick align the stock, which is already. And then I just always have a look at this in 3D just to make sure everything is kind of placed correctly. If you look at this, you can kind of see the stock setup here is exactly the top surface of this model, and the bottom is exactly the bottom surface of this model. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. And okay, so you can rotate, scale, mirror. You can do other things with the model here. Mine is already in the correct position, and my origin is also in the correct position, as you can see here. Now, this has already got a built-in offset, so you can see here's a measurement here, and there's a measurement here. If you want to double-check these measurements, you can always jump back to the CAM to make sure this size and that size is correct. If you also back to the model, if you want to make sure what's the sizes of the tools that I'm going to be using, you always have to kind of look at the model and be like, okay, this is a 4 mil. Okay, so I can cut that with a 1/8 of an inch tool, which is 3.175. So you always have to make sure. You have to make sure that the tools that you use is the correct thickness for the part that you want to mill. And you can also, if you want to make sure that things works out 100%, if I say 3.175, I actually mill or actually draw a circle, and this is the tool, right? So if you imagine that, okay, the tool can fit into this. If you have, for example, a text, something that's smaller, and you just want to check, is this bit actually able to cut that radius? Over here, I can actually see it will cut that radius. The only part that will be different, excuse me, will be a small radius that you'll have on the inside of this corner. At the top, it's just a little pocket. So this is just a 0.5 mil pocket over here. So that radius, it can still follow. So the only difference that you actually have on your part is the inner radius of this angle over here. So this is just a fun way to check, or a good way to check if the tool that you're using actually can cut the part. If the tool is too big to cut a hole, it'll actually not give you a tool path because it's not possible to cut it. So let's jump back to the CAM. I usually jump kind of back and forth between the CAM and the CAD software just to make sure everything is aligned and everything is the way that I want it to be. Okay, so let's go into creating a toolpath. And I'm going to go to 3D, and I'm going to start off with a pocket, which is this first step. So from the top surface to this step, I'm going to create a 3D pocket. I'm going to use, let's delete this tool for now, and add single flute non-metal, 25 mil, 3.1, and this is in hardwood. So I select this, and then the start depth is at the top of the top surface. Clearance height, I'm not going to mess around with that. It's already been set up. Step over 2 mil. Step down is ticked, so every step down is going to be 1 mil. I think I'm going to make this 2 mil. Feed rate, I'm not going to change anything here. Spindle speed is already set up for the material. And then I'm going to cut this as an offset strategy. So what's the difference here is parallel, it will machine this pocket like horizontally. And if you use an offset, it actually uses the circular feature, so it molds from the inside in a circular motion. And we're going inside out, that's fine. And we're going on the inside of the boundary, and we're not going to add ramping in this wood. And then we'll calculate this. And there you can see we have a 2 mil. So that top white line is the 2 mil, and then it will finish off with the second line that covers on that. So that's the first pocket and our first tool that we've got here. I'm also not going to use a tool change in this part because, you know, we're just focusing on making this, and I can actually make this with only one tool. So there's no need to complicate this. So we're happy with that. I'll close this, and then I'm going to go back to 3D path, and I'm going to do a pocket again. And then I'm going to select this bottom surface. Now all the information that it has is the bottom surface. So at the top here, you need to tell the cam that it's actually, it doesn't have to mold the top 3 mil, because I already did that in this pocket. So my start depth is at 3 millimeters. Is everybody still good? Is my sound okay? I'm just going on now.
Yeah,
Jason,
you're doing well, Roloff. All sounds good.
All right. All right. So I'm going to start at 3 mil down from the top surface. Clearance height, that's already been set up. That's the correct tool. Step down 2 mil. And that's set up. And I'm also going to do the offset the same way I did it earlier. Inside boundary, no ramping. Calculate. And then you can see from the top, it uses the contour of that line of the outside of the surface to actually calculate that. So that's pocket number 2. Let's hide that, close, and then we're actually going to do another pocket. So we can do these holes in a few different ways. I mean, you can draw them, but it's formal, like we checked in the CAD software. So it's formal, and I'm going to and I've got a 3.17, so I can use a formal drill bit. But I think for this, I'll actually also just do a pocket. So I'll select that surface. I'll select that surface. Start depth is at 3, and then clearance height. I'm using that same tool. That's fine. So it'll actually go in a circular motion and create that pass. It's also an offset inside the boundary, and let's calculate that. Let me just make this 0. There is the line. Okay, so that's the little guide for the holes for the screws. Let's hide that. And then finally, we're going to do a 3D path. We're going to do a contour just to cut out the part. And I'm going to select the objects. I'm going to select the part, generate the contours, which is only this outline. I select this outline. Start depth will be on 0. End depth offset, I'm just going to make this 0.1. So just so actually it goes through the material. And you know, you can actually cut out.
And Roloff, I want to point out to everyone what Makera CAM really just did there, right? So when you generated that contour, which is a pretty cool thing, and you'll see us do this again later on with the cap part, right? Makera CAM basically scanned the 3D model that was imported and found the edge profiles, right? Because when you create a contour cut, you really want to follow some type of vector line, like a 2D line, just to either machine the outer part or clear something out on an internal feature or whatever it is. So Makera CAM will automatically generate those around your imported STP files to make creating different toolpaths really cool. And Roloff just selected the whole object there, and it automatically found the outer profile. But you can also select faces and things too if you want to generate contours, let's say, for example, a chamfer or whatever, right? So you'll see when he clicks on that top face, now it found the outer lines of the pocket and the other edges, which might be handy to do some type of chamfering pass or something like that, which we're going to do in another part later on. So I didn't want to jump in there too much, Roloff, but that was a really cool feature that I think a lot of folks don't realize how easy it makes for creating your toolpaths on a 3D model. Yeah.
And the STP file, you know, it's usually flat surfaces, so you can use this to, you know, capture many different areas and then specify this specific area on that part needs to be milled this way and that way. So it's a pretty powerful feature. For now, I'm just using it as a outline. So, but it can be used for many different things. So, yeah, cool feature. And let's just jump back into the tools. I'm gonna go non-metal, single flute, 25 mil, hardwood. Select that tool, and I'm going to step down 2 mil. I've already milled this, and I've seen that 2 mil is fine into this material. I'm not going to add ramping to that. I will add a tab to this though, and oh yeah, just the strategy should also be on the outside of that contour. So that's just to make sure it's exactly the same size that it should be. So I'm not going to put any offset to that. Outside, let's add some tabs here. I'm going to do a triangle, and I'm actually going to increase this tab to, let's go 3 mil. Let's go 4 mil. It's wood, so you know you can leave it quite some material to hold it in place because it can chip away that tab. So in aluminums you can go a little bit less on the thicknesses of your tabs or on some metals because it actually holds it in place. But for wood, I recommend just increasing it a little bit more, and you can obviously sand it quite easy. So let's do a top view here. Oh, I don't think I haven't selected this. Let's just clear this tab, exit add. Okay, let's add a tab. And I also recommend adding the tabs like kind of concentric. I don't know if that's the right word, or parallel to each other. To remove it, you can actually like kind of move it, like pivot it on that axis to actually break it out. So if you put one here and there and there and there, it's harder to get it out. So depending on the size of the part as well, if it's bigger, you need a lot more tabs. So let's add that. Let's calculate this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the 3D viewer here, and I can see the tabs cut out there nicely and the tabs cut out there nicely. And if I do a front view, you can also see that it's cutting through the material. Now that's the in-depth offset that I've set over here. So that is the file. We have the pocket, we have another pocket, we have another pocket, which can also be a drill, but I'm just doing a pocket for that now. And then we have the outside contour. So as simple as that. I'm going to go here to toolpath. I'm going to select all of them. All of them is the same 25 mil 1/8 of an inch tool. So let's export that. I'll call this.
As you save that G-code file, I want to point out to our users that might not have seen that before, that was actually a new update to Makera CAM, where when you go to export your G-code, it actually, as Roloff showed you, it shows you your tool list and also your tool numbers, which Makera CAM will tell you if you make a mistake in terms of choosing multiple tools with the same tool number. It'll warn you about that. But it's very easy just to modify your tool numbers if you want to put them in a different order, or if you want to have, let's say you want to, assign them to match your Carvera's automatic tool changer if you're using the Carvera or something like that. So that's a pretty handy feature too that Roloff just did there.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So now we have the G-code. It's saved to my downloads folder on my computer. And now I'm just going to connect Wi-Fi to my machine. I've already set up the stock on that machine. Let's just connect that again. There we go. When I connect to the machine, I always just do a little move in X just to see if the connection's fine, and we are fine. And now I'm going to go to open the G-code, and I'm going to upload a file, handle bottle opener, and I'm going to just upload and select, which is also quite a new feature. You don't have to upload it separately and then open it. You can just do it in one shot.
Yep, and the reason that we upload the files directly to the machine, so that actually just saved it to the Carvera's internal hard disk there, which means that if Roloff disconnected during machining, or if Wi-Fi goes down, or if you're plugged into your computer and the computer goes to sleep, the Carvera will carry on. It'll keep machining even if you disconnect from your computer, which is a super really a reliability feature for, you know, more automation and good results in machining there.
Yep. Yep. So the next thing that we'll do is we'll just open the run config. I've already mounted the material, and if you guys want some info on that, we have enough YouTube videos and tutorials on how to mount stock. And I know my stock is already 20 mil throughout, so it's already been planed. So I'm pretty confident. So I don't have to do auto leveling on my machine. That'll also save us some time. So I'm not going to put offsets into this because the material already has that offset. And then I don't really have to scan, or let's scan margin just to check if I clear all the brackets, and then I'll auto Z probe in that location. And then we're just going to hit run. But before I hit run, let's set up the machine cam.
Yep. I got you here. So let's swap.
All right. So
you can see that we have some, is that walnut in there, Roloff? What is that wood?
This is a rosewood.
Ah,
it's quite a hard wood. And I'm going to hit run over here. Basically, what it's doing, it's just dropping the older tool.
Yep. So I'll talk us through here. So with the Carvera right now, it's going to do the probing sequence and the scan margin automatically. And when I talk to folks, when I do the training with people, and we talk about, you know, what makes using these CNCs so easy to use and more intuitive than, let's say, a typical CNC milling machine or router or whatever, is really this calibration feature that's about to do entirely on its own. So the Carvera is grabbing the wireless probe from its automatic tool changer, and you'll see it come into shot in just a second. And it's going to actually first do that scan margin, which is something that we always recommend you do, because it allows you to see exactly where your part's going to be machined and foresee any possible issues before the head lowers. So you'll see if there's going to be any collisions with any clamps, or if you have your offsets in the wrong spot, or if you grab stock that was too small. So this is a really, really powerful feature where you can see that little laser pointer coming into shot now. That's just going to trace the perimeter of the handle as we go around, right? So that's showing us that the handle is going to be right there on the stock. And just, it's a quick way for you to double check that you're in the right spot. And of course, while we're using the Carvera Air would do the same, but with its wired probe instead of the wireless probe that the Carvera Air uses. But mechanically, it's essentially the same part, just a different way to connect. And you'll see right now that the Carvera is then going to lower and measure the thickness of the stock to figure out how thick that is, and then compensate its Z offsets completely automatically. And it'll do that for every tool change as well. So even though this part, we're not going to do any tool changes, every time a new tool is selected, that tool is measured and the offsets are automatically calibrated, and you don't have to touch or do anything. All that's done entirely by the machine.
Yeah. I just switched over to this microphone, and I just wanted to say I do have a compressor here. So just for filming purposes, I will put on some air onto this part. I'll have the lid open, so it might get a little noisy. If it gets too noisy, just let me know. Then I'll just maybe switch to the different mic. So just keep me posted. I can't really hear myself. But yeah, it's picking up the tool currently.
Perfect. Yep. And we'll keep this machine cam going here so you guys can see the progress of it machining this part while we then kind of move on and do some more giveaways and do some more stuff. So it's just grabbing the tool right now. This is the 25 millimeter end mill, and you'll see it come into shot as it starts to create all those pockets that Roloff created in Makera CAM. Here we go. And we should also point out that typically if you would want, especially if this is in a public space or a school or something like that, you would want the machine to automatically pause if you open up the lid. Right now we have that feature disabled, so that way we can machine with the lid open. But you can, of course, have a pause or stop function triggered if you open the lid during the machining process. That's just something that we have disabled.
How's the sound there?
Sounds not awesome. It's not terrible. I mean, honestly, to be only a few feet away from a CNC with the lid open, it's not terrible, but I think your other microphone might be a little bit better.
All right, no problem. I want to be here for now, so I can just change back to the other one.
Yeah, but again, for you being like 3 feet away from a CNC machining some hardwood with the lid open, I mean, it's really not too bad at all. And of course, if the lid was closed, guys, it'd be way quieter. But we want that camera to be a nice shot there. Let me.
I actually forgot the dust shoe on, so I'm gonna. I actually wanted to remove it, so that's my mistake.
That's all right.
But then,
Is the vacuum on though? Do you want to turn on the Carvera?
I can actually turn on the vacuum. Let me.
Yeah, I think the vacuum's not on right now for the Carvera, so it's a little bit more messy than it needs to be here. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, it's doing a nice job cleaning up the part. All right, so that machine is running with the vacuum, and I think while that's running, roll up, it's time to do another giveaway.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right,
I'll open up.
Why don't you get the giveaway thing ready to go here, and if everyone else who's watching can get your keyboards ready, we're going to do our second giveaway, which is going to be a $100 gift card to either the Makera store or Amazon.com, your choice. So you'll be able to let us know where you want your $100 gift card for as we go there. So you can get that. So let me flip our stage here. We'll hide the machine cam just temporarily. All right, we'll bring the machine cam back in a little bit here. So you can choose where you want your $100 gift card to if you're a winner. But to remember, to win this, not only do you have to get the right keyword, you also have to subscribe to our channel. So make sure you press that subscribe button below if you haven't already done so.
All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to say hashtag 100.
Here we go.
And let's go.
Hashtag 100, everybody. Hashtag 100. Who wants that $100 gift card? $100 gift card.
I saw a comment about how I switched on the vacuum while the machine was running. Basically, you can do that. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, I can quickly just show you. So basically, over here, I can just go to the diagnostics window. And over here, I can turn on this. Well, I can put on the vacuum here, put on the air, which I don't need now.
And also adjust the vacuum power.
Vacuum power, yeah. So I wasn't even on 100 there. So you can just do that in that run config. So yeah, back to this.
Cool. Back to this. $100 gift card. So we're going to give away three $100 gift cards, everybody. Hashtag 100. We'll give you another minute here to do this. Hashtag 100. We're going to give away three $100 gift cards. And again, you'll get to tell us where you want that gift card to. So here we go.
Let's go.
Quite loud. Here we go. All right, who is the first winner of this $100 gift card? John Potts.
John Potts.
Congratulations. $100 gift card for John. We have two more $100 gift cards. Here we go.
Let's do draw again. Crudely made.
All right. Hopefully not with our machines. Congratulations. You just won a $100 gift card.
Yeah. And one more time.
I don't know.
What? I don't know about that one.
But congratulations, you also just won a $100 gift card. So congrats to our next three winners. As a reminder, to claim your prize, be a subscriber. So make sure you press that subscribe button, and then you can send us your account profile, like a screenshot of your account here for YouTube. Just send that over to info@makera.com. We'll go over the details for you to receive your gift card. And again, you'll be able to tell us where you'd like that for, right? So you have some options there. Cool. All right. So it looks like we're doing pretty well. We're working through our pockets here. I think while the machine is going there, let's see. We are, making some good progress on those pockets here. I think though we can move in to start to prepare the next part there. Roll off the cap part. We have one more part for this bottle opener, or else we're not going to be able to open anything here.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I have to hide this cam again. I mean, that's okay.
Yep.
Just to show my screen.
Yeah, we can check in on the machine cam later on.
Yeah. No problem. Okay, so back here. Okay, I'm just gonna go File, New. Do not save. You can actually save it. I recommend to save it. You know, there's things that can happen. Bits do break. So if you quickly want to change or just remove one of these tool paths, you saw how quickly it is to export another file. So if something happens on the first pocket, or you finish the first pocket and something happens on the second pocket, you can just go back to this G code and then just change or remove the first one. And as you can see in the export window, you can select which ones you want to keep or leave. So, all right, next part. Import 3D model. And this is the cap. This is a step file. Let's import this. My positioning is already actually pretty good. I know this, but let's go back to the cam just to make sure what we've got here. Now I've got quite a big piece mounted to the Carvera Air that I'll use to cut this. So I'm not necessarily worried about the stock size, because this stock size, I know it's 3 mil, and this is just under, I think the hole on the handle is 50 mil. So this is just a little bit smaller, just so it fits in there. So that's 50. So let's call 60. 60. And this is 3 mil. And then I'll hit OK. And then I'm going to select this, quick align stock. And just to check if everything's aligned, I'm at the top, I'm at the bottom. Happy days. And let's start milling this. So it's a similar process to the handle. I'm going to go 3D path. I'm first going to do the pocket. Now, looking at this part, there'll be 3 operations. So firstly, it will be this 0.5 mil pocket that I have over here. And then we have an inside cut, which will be, this holes will also be just an inside cut. This will be an inside cut. And then an outside contour with some tabs. And actually what I'll do here is I'll put a tab on the middle part as well. Because, the inserts can go, it's a dangerous thing because it can go flying. So just keep an eye and just remember that if you have parts like this that have small inserts or offcuts that can get loose while you're cutting the inside.
Roel, while you pause there, I'm going to show machine cam, everybody. You can see that we are on a contour past there. So you'll also see that it's going to lift for the tabs as we get deeper here. So that handle is almost done. That was a lift for the tab right there. Working our way around, making a bit of a mess with the lid open, but almost done our handle here. Here we go. We're going to lift for another tab. That was a tab lift, just like that. And back to him.
All right. So let's start our first operation, which is a 3D pocket. Like we did earlier, I'm going to select this surface because that's the pocket that I'm going to do first. Start depth is on 0, which is the top surface of this part. And then over here, we can select our tool, which will be for metal. And it will be a 12 mil, an 1/8 of an inch in aluminum. So I'll choose that. And then step down has already been set up. Okay, our machine is done. I'm just going to jump back over here and just switch off the vac. And then we're back over here. All right. Excuse me. All right, so step down is 0.2. That's already been set up, and step down has been ticked. So we just want to do it in sections. The depth of this part is a 1/2 mil, so it's 0.5. So we'll do like 3 passes. Feed rate's already done. Spindle speed is I'm happy with that. And this is set up for aluminum, so we don't have to change anything there. Obviously, if you do a little bit more advanced stuff, you can obviously upscale the values. But to get started, this is a good starting point for all the values. And then we're going to do an offset into this part. Inside out is fine. And over here, now for this part, this is quite a, if you say inside boundary here and I calculate it, it's just going to cut that inside part of that pocket. But that will leave us with a radius. Let me show, let's jump back here. And if I do that, you will end up with a radius, with a big radius here, if you do that. So I actually want to cut that the tool passes this inside and actually cut out that entire pocket. So if I go back here and I select outside boundary, it still looks at this end profile of the surface here, but it actually extends over. So if I calculate it here, you see the difference. So it actually extends over that edge to actually give you a good clean angle here. So that's the first that's the first part. I'm going to add ramping to this, and this already fixed angle. Start height is at 1 mil, and the ramping distance. This has already been set up, so you can just, I'm happy with that. So I'll calculate that in, and then you can see there's some angles that's programmed in there to actually just take it a little bit easier on the tool, so it actually slowly feeds into the material and doesn't drop or plunge into the material. Okay, so that's our first pocket, and then we're going to do a contour. You can also, a contour is best for this. And what I'll do is I will generate the contour of the entire object. I can also select the bottom face. It'll be the same. So let's generate the contours. I just need to select this, generate contours. I will select this line. I will select this line, and I will select this line. And then we will start at the top. We will give it an offset of 0.1. Clearance height, that's already been set up. The tool is the NMOL for metal, so that's already, I'm happy with that. The step down is 0.2, so we're happy with that. Feed rate's good, spindle speed's good, and the tool number's good. And on here, we're going to cut on the inside of these contours. So this will actually, if I calculate on the outside, by accident, you'll see it'll actually change the size of the hole, and it'll be a lot bigger. But if I do inside, calculate here, it'll just be the inside pocket, and it's going to spiral down to cut the holes, and it'll spiral down to cut the inside of that pocket. So I'm happy with that. I will also add ramping to this strategy. And oh yeah, like I said, I will add a tab. So let's add a tab over there. One tab, thickness 1 mil. So they will be, because I'm going through the material by 0.1 millimeter, it'll actually have a tab that's 0.9 millimeters. I don't know, I'm coughing like this now. So now I can see the tabs being cut in there. I can easily cut that off, and it's also on a nice surface, so I can actually easily sand it away, a tab. Yours, like if you put a tab like into this corner, it'll be quite hard to get in there with like a file to sand it. So you just strategically need to place your tabs. Otherwise, you're just making your life a little harder in the future. Okay, so that is our inside contour. So let's hide that, and then finally we're gonna do our 3D contour. We will generate the I keep on forgetting to select the model. And then I've got the outside contour here. We will start on 0. In depth is the same as the previous one. This is fine. The tool is the same. The settings are the same. But here I will do an outside cut. So I will calculate this. You can see it's on the outside. Everything looks good. If I look at it from the front, I can see it's cutting a little bit through the material, so I'll have a clean finish. But I will have to add a tab, and I will also add the ramping. And I will add a tab to, just do the tab here, and let's do a tab there. And the tab is 1 mil thick by 10 mil, so it'll be, with the pass through, it'll be 0.9. So let's calculate that again. I can see the tabs being cut in here, the ramping's there, and we're good to go.
Sweet.
Let's see. We got a contour.
So a couple different tools this time, a couple different types of tool paths, right? A combination of contours and pockets here, right? And
Yep.
you know, a variety of you know, processes here to prepare this part.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the same tool for all of these operations. There's not really need. I could use a drill bit for these holes, but it's not necessarily needed because I'll be
Right.
spiraling down.
You
So
could throw like a chamfer on there too if you wanted to.
oh yeah,
right?
yeah. You can definitely put a chamfer on here. You know, it's as easy as going to chamfer, and then I will generate the contour of the object. Then I've got that line, and then I can go through the settings. It will be a chamfer on the outside. I'll calculate that. I needed to select the top surface. My bad. Let's just change this. Clear contours. I'll do a face. Generate contour of this face. So then I'll use that line. Let's just hide the rest. And that'll calculate, and that'll actually put the chamfer on there. But I think for timing's sake, I see we're already almost past our time.
Yeah,
For
we don't have
timing,
to do that.
I'm going to add that now. Yeah.
And I want to remind everybody, I know that we're going over this quite quickly here, that we have a recorded tutorial video on how you can recreate this bottle opener, grab the files, and also customize it, which I'll talk more about in just a minute as we're machining this here. So we talk a lot more about the different features. We dive deeper into all these different settings and things like that in the tutorial video for the bottle opener and all of our other projects and things. So definitely take a look at that after they're posted later tonight, or today or tomorrow, wherever you are in the world, right, as we go here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get onto the Carvera Air. Before we do that, let me show you something cool. So here you can see on this page, I'm connected to the Carvera. So we just ran that file on here, but I can still go here to my Wi-Fi and connect to the Carvera Air, which is behind me. So if you're doing multiple jobs, you have multiple machines, and you want to set up things back and forth, you can actually open a few windows, which is quite a cool feature too. So over here, I'm going to close this because we're done with this guy. And then I will upload a file, cap, bottle opener, upload and select. And there we have our file. Let's just do a quick machine cam. So I can actually do a clean up here and show you what's going on here. I think my dust.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll narrate. Why don't you mute yourself there real quick, Roloff. And yeah, so it looks like we have our handle part.
I can hear you, and I can also talk over here.
There we go. Here's the handle part. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys.
All right.
Perfect. So we have our handle part there that Roloff's just going to remove using the toolkit. Some side clamps and things like that, right? So there's a variety of that. Most of these clamps will, come with your machine, and you could also order more clamps and things like that from our store, or even manufacture your own if you'd like. And look at that. There we go. There's our handle there. Nice piece of wood.
And
good choice. Yeah.
And look at this. I did this tab so well. I can just go like this.
Perfect. A little bit of
there's our part.
sandpaper.
I'll do a little cleanup there. Do a little cleanup there. I've got another cam set up for that afterwards. So
nice.
Yeah. Let's move over to this machine. Sorry for my camera work over here. I'm going to try my best to do this as smooth as possible.
It was flawless. New machine. Flawless.
Oh, great stuff.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. So basically in the controller, I think we can kind of keep it like that. We can keep that angle. I think we can just show you too. So over here, I'm going to go run. I'm going to put a little bit of an offset to this. Let's add a 5mm and a 5mm here, just to give it a little bit clearance. And then I'm just going to hit. I'm not going to do auto leveling on this. It's not needed. I know the material is pretty level throughout. I'll do auto Z probe and I'll do a scan margin. So let's run this.
All right. And you'll see that the Carvera Air is prompting. Of course, there's not an automatic tool changer for the Carvera Air, but so this is prompting Roloff to load the wired probe, which is attached to the tool head. So Roloff's just going to insert that probe, and then the Carvera Air is going to run through and do the same probing and scan margin sequence that the Carvera did. that you saw earlier there. So very similar features, of course, just a slightly different approach. Actually, what you're seeing it's doing right now is it has a homing switch in the very back of the bed. And that is a really important feature. I don't know if a lot of folks realize what that does, but not only does that check to make sure that your tool is properly loaded, it also will help the Carvera Air measure the length of the tool every time you do a tool change. So it automatically offsets your Z heights for you, just like the Carvera does. So we can see the scan margin there. Roloff did a perfect job at making that fit beautifully on that stock, away from his clamps and everything like that. So good position. And now it's just going to measure the height of that aluminum before prompting us for another tool change.
All right, now we've got the height.
I think it's going to do another quick little tool change beep here, right?
Yeah.
For our tool.
So we're using a 25 mil end mill for, well, I mean a 12 mil. So I'm just going to do that. And then replacing this guy.
No wrenches needed for a tool change.
No
right?
wrenches needed. As easy as that. And then you have two options. You can either use the controller to proceed, or you can just hit the top and proceed from there.
Perfect. All right. So we'll leave machine cam on for a minute so you guys can see this start to machine. And then while this is machining, we got a couple things we want to show you. How you could customize this bottle opener a little bit more than what we have time for in this tutorial. And definitely stay with us because we have more giveaways. We have one more giveaway that we'll be doing before the night is over, where there'll be 2 lucky winners that get 50% off the purchase of a new machine. So here we go. We can see the Carvera Air is coming on in. And
I'm going to switch on the external vac for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the dustbin on my Carvera is a little bit full. I didn't plan to actually use the vacuum, so I think that's why we have some chips
Got it.
outside of
there we
the
go.
bag. But yeah,
All right. So that's
carry
machining. That is machining. So guys, while that's machining, I'm going to take machine cam away for a quick second, and I'm going to share my screen. Let me flip back here. If I could flip back. Roloff, I'm going to take over and present my screen here. All right. So Roloff mentioned that we shared the files not only for 3D files, but also 2D files, right? So this is actually, if I hide my toolpaths, this is a 2D profile for a very simple bottle opener handle, right? Not one that would be the same teardrop shape as what Roloff made, but like a nice round bottle opener using the same metal pocket here, right? And this is also shared on our wiki site. And the reason that we want to share the 2D profile is, first off, you can create 3D parts using a 2D profile in Makera CAM. So I can create, a 3-dimensional pocket. I can create the other pocket just like Roloff did with the same tools and settings, a drilling operation, and then this outer contour. But when you're working with 2D files, it gives you a little bit more flexibility for customization, right? So let's say that you want to create your own custom bottle opener with your own custom handle design, right? So let me actually go ahead and I'm going to make my stock just a little bit bigger to give myself a little bit more room to work with. All right, like so. And then I'm going to import a picture, not a vector, but like literally a JPEG photograph, just grabbed from the internet here, a piece of clip art, right? And let's say I want to create like a wrench-shaped bottle opener, and I could import any shape I want really to be working with here. So I'm going to use Makera CAM's automatic trace feature to trace this image, and that will give me this vector outline of the wrench. And I don't need this part of the wrench, so I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to grab this part. And then again, using Makera CAM, I'm going to just rotate this wrench and let me scale it. Oops, not like that. Let's see here. Actually, let me reset. Make this guy a little bit bigger. See if I can scale this like so. Rotate. And this might take me a second to get just right. so it fits. I might have to make my stock a little bit bigger here, or of course, grab a different image. But here is my wrench. Of course, I would need to make my stock a little bit bigger. And if I, let's say, delete this outer handle line, so I'm going to delete this line. When I go and regenerate this contour, I'm going to generate the contour for my imported wrench. And now I can create a wrench bottle opener. Of course, I would need to make my stock, again, bigger, right? So let's make this quite a bit bigger to actually fit this wrench just about on the bed of my machine here. And now I could make a custom wrench shaped bottle opener, which, listen, we don't have time for me to machine this, but because I'm prepared, it would look something like this, right?
Hey, look at that.
The thing here. Sorry, my microphone cut out there for a second. Yeah, so look, nice little wrench-shaped bottle opener. So you can customize this. You can make your own custom shapes, and again, you can grab that profile along with the actual 3D parts that Roloff showed earlier. Something else that you could do that we don't have time for is if I remove this here. Of course, the Carvera has a built-in laser engraver, and the Carvera Air has an optional laser engraving module, right? So you could also utilize the built-in laser or the optional laser engraving module and Makera CAM to import your image and prepare it for laser engraving. And then that would allow you to create a really nice engraved image or logo on your bottle opener. So that's another way that you can customize, this really cool project, all with the same machine, with the same software, right? And we don't have time to, of course, do some laser engraving in this live stream because we're almost out of time here. But that is everything I just showed you is included in the tutorial video for the bottle opener that's going to be posted to our YouTube channel after the stream. So that way you can see how to customize your handle, create some laser engravings, and of course, go back and review and create all the cool stuff that we're showing you in tonight's stream.
Yeah,
it looks like it's almost done.
Great stuff.
On our
we're doing
ready?
We're on the contour. I think it's done its second pause on the contour now.
Cool. So just a couple minutes there to machine this bottle opener part out of aluminum with the Carvera Air. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Most of the time is also spent on the cam, making sure everything is programmed correctly, and the order of operations is done correctly. So that also takes some time. But the milling of the handle, that was about 10 minutes, and the milling of this is also about 10 minutes, or you can get it to about 10 minutes. I'm also taking it easy on the feeds and speeds. You can run this machine double this feeds and speeds. We won't recommend that, but with the correct tool and the correct setup, you can actually get these things made quite quickly.
That's a question we always get is, how fast can you run these machines? Well, they can run quite fast, but you run it really fast, and of course, all you're going to do is either break your bits or even dull your bits, right? So we often get asked, how often do you need to replace your bits? They are wear and tear items, right? Just like a saw blade and things like that. So, you do need to make sure that you're using sharp bits and you're replacing them as they get dull, and more abrasive materials like carbon fiber and fiberglass and things like that will dull bits more quickly than, say, wood or epoxy, right? So if you want to get a long life out of your bits, slow your machine down. If you want to go into more production spec speeds and you have a budget to keep replacing your bits and things like that, then you can push your machines to cut a little bit more quickly. There's a lot of different ways that you can, of course, configure your CAM files depending on your needs.
I think while we're waiting for this guy to finish, I've got another cam set up that I can show you this part as like a little close-up, and we can do some finishing and we can do some final parts to this and actually assemble this boy.
That's awesome. Let's see. So let's put this bottle opener together here.
Okay, so let me flip to this cam.
Excellent.
How's that? Can you see?
Yeah,
what's
that's
happening?
Good.
How's that? Great stuff. Okay, so I've got a tab to deal with here. Let me grab my knife. Well, I can just clip these off. So over here, I just have to remove this tab. I'll just clip these off. And over here, you can just clip these off. Now, I didn't put a chamfer on this, so the only sharp thing on this is the top and the bottom edge. But if you just take it, it's already got the edge cut. So it's, if you just go over with it, like with a sanding tool, you can just knock over that edge so quickly and so easily. And just the sides, just give that a little sand. Obviously, you can avoid this by doing a chamfer. So, but for now, this is a little bit quicker. Just knock that over. I'll knock this one over. You know, you can paint this. You can do so many different things with it. So now you can see the detail is a little bit better. All the burrs are removed. And yeah, so that's what the part looks like.
Perfect.
And you have a bunch of different tools. You have like you have a bunch of different tools you can use to get rid of sharp edges, things like that. But yeah, this shows you the part. I think, Jason, I've got a spare one that I already mold. So maybe just to save some time, this machine is still going. Well, it's actually very almost done. It's on 95%. So maybe we just wait.
There we go. Well, listen, while that's going, let's take a second to answer a couple questions here. I'm seeing some folks asking a lot of questions about CAM. You know, there are tons of different CAM programs out there. And while we've recently launched Makera CAM, we also support, or at least we're compatible with, pretty much any CAM you want to use. So we know that a lot of our users use Fusion or SolidWorks or VCarve or Kirimoto, or if you're making PCBs, flat cam and things like that. So you can choose whatever CAM works best for your workflow. And certainly some CAMs are better at some things than others, right? VCarve, for example, is great at making like wood reliefs and things like that, where, you know, Fusion is maybe a little bit better for like fourth axis and complex things. But the reason that we launched Makera CAM is we know that we have a lot of users with very little CAM experience, maybe coming from the 3D printer space, or even users that are tired of paying hundreds of dollars a year for subscription. So we wanted to create Makera CAM to be a free for all of our customers and a great versatile CAM option that's as versatile as our machines. If you want to prepare something for laser engraving, PCBs, 2D, 3D milling, but it is, of course, still in public beta. So we are constantly working to improve that. And we appreciate all the feedback that you guys give us as we continue to make Makera CAM even better. And it looks like from our machine cam there, I believe that part made out of solid aluminum is finished. Why don't you grab that there and we can put this bottle together here.
All right, let's shut off this vacuum over here. Let me just get something to get that out of there. And now you can kind of judge your tabs. Let's see if my tab can actually pop this out. Hey, look at that.
Perfect.
Look at that.
Nice aluminum part there. Lovely.
So now you can see the off camera focus. Oh, there we go. So now I can see the off cut is actually right, and it's easy to pop out. So I'm just going to bend this out, and it's aluminum, so you can easily remove that part. Let's go over, while I'm here, while I'm in focus, I'll just pop off. I hope you can see this. Okay. Just pop off the very sharp edges.
Yep. Of course, be careful as you do this, folks.
Yeah, that's really sharp. That's really sharp.
Another great handy toolkit to get yourself, if you do a lot with metal, is get yourself a nice set of files. We, of course, we use sandpaper a lot, like really high grit sandpaper, and that's really good for softer materials and things like that. But whenever I'm working with aluminum, I like to use like a nice fine file to just take the last little bits of tabs down there.
Yeah. So I've got this just to deal with. It's one of these edges. And this is a good file, for example. So on the inside, I'm just going to file that out slightly. You get kits like this that I use quite a lot. There's different sizes, files. They're very fine. So if you're making small things and you just want to get some of the details out, just sand it slightly on the outside. And for this part, ideally you would also put a chamfer on it, just to get rid of that sharp edge. But
And
yeah,
that's
there we
something
go.
we look
That's
at. Yeah, we look at how to do the chamfer in the longer tutorial video too. So you guys can check
oh
out how
yeah,
to
yeah.
do some chamfers in our tutorial on this guy.
So if my tolerances were correct, that'll just pop. I still have a little bit of a tab over here. So I've
Perfect.
got still a little, not yet.
I thought
Get
it
in
was a
there.
nice little snap sound that you had there. It was good.
It will. I think it will now with that tab removed. I just have to put it in evenly. Here we go. It's a friction fit, but it's in there.
Perfect.
The tab, I just need to sand a little bit more. There's the click. All right, there you can see it's nice and flat.
Lovely.
There's
That's
the
good.
part. And then I do have some screws over here that I'll just use to fix this in. Ideally, you would actually like also chamfer these holes to have
Yeah.
these screws actually not protrude. So that's also something that you can add, but that just took some time.
And that would be an inside chamfer. And again, we look at that in our
Wait,
tutorial video there.
there we go. And there's our bottle opener.
Yeah, you definitely want to chamfer those.
Yeah, they're a
holes.
little bit, they're standing out a little bit, but
Just for
this, you get,
context, folks, where's my camera? If you chamfer them, you can get some nice low profile screws that will fit in there just a little bit nicer there. But there we go. Bottle opener made.
that's it.
But of course, there's lots of ways to customize that, guys. So definitely check out our tutorial video where you can learn, not only just review all the things that we did quite quickly in this live stream, but also, again, learn how you can customize it, where if you want to make gear-shaped bottle openers, wrench-shaped bottle openers, different materials. Like, for example, I like this guy that has brass on there. That's pretty
looks
slick,
nice.
right? Brass with some black walnut looks pretty good. And again, do some custom engravings, right? So definitely there's a lot of ways you can customize this. And we would actually love to see you share your custom bottle opener designs with us, whether that's on our Discord groups, Facebook groups, Reddit channel, things like that. We would love to see how you take this project and customize it and create some really cool things. I see somebody asked colors or wood. Yeah, these two are black walnut here in terms of that. So this guy's like a really nice dark walnut with brass and some black screws. I think that's a pretty slick thing. I got an engraving on that one. I know Father's Day is coming up here in the United States, and I know what gifts I'm giving away for that
Nice.
convenient timing. So listen, I think it is time for our third and final giveaway, right? So let's get our keyboards ready. This is the big one. We're going to be giving away 50% off. Right? So 50% off coupons on the purchase of either a Carvera or a Carvera Air. You get to pick, and you get a 50% off coupon on the purchase of that machine. So this is going to be our last giveaway of the night. We're going to give away 2 of these 50% coupons to 2 lucky winners to save 50% off the machine. So,
and if you're planning to buy one, that's quite a big deal. And you can save a bunch of money. So yeah, it's a really good gift if you're planning to buy one. And if you're not planning to buy one, maybe that will make you want to buy one.
Here we go.
Let's go.
All right. So last keyword, everybody. Get your keyboards ready. The last keyword is hashtag Carvera.
Let's go.
Hashtag Carvera. 2 folks can get 50% off the purchase. And even though the hashtag is hashtag Carvera, it's 50% off the Carvera or the Carvera Air. Your pick. 2 lucky winners are going to get this coupon code. And of course, while you enter your keyboards, don't forget to also push that subscribe button, because you need to, of course, be subscribers in order to get these prizes too. So make sure you subscribe. Let's get those keywords going. The chat is going pretty fast here.
We won 60 people on the stream. Entries at 80. We're going to get it to 100 surely.
Let's go. Hopefully. We're going here. Let's see who's paying attention, who's got their keyboards ready. I see a lot of folks are entering more than once. While we appreciate that, it does keep track. You can only enter one time. It is 1 entry per person. That's not us. That's the software. But we appreciate your enthusiasm here. for this final prize. Looks like we're slowing down a little bit.
We are 90, 91. I think we're slowing down a bit. I think let's do it.
Let's do it. 250% off coupons. Here we go.
Let's go.
Who's the second to last winner? I almost said last winner. 2 people are going to get this. We're going to do 2. So let's see. We have Rico Garza. Congratulations, Rico. You are our first winner of this 50% off coupon. Congrats. But we have one more. One more.
And here we go.
Last winner of the night. Yeah, drum roll on that. Is that a metal table? That's nice. That had a nice like echo on there. All right. Yucano. I apologize if I said your name wrong there, but congratulations. You are our last winner of the evening. And again, 50% off the purchase of a Carvera or Carvera Air for these 2 winners and all of our winners throughout the night. Remember, you have to be a subscriber. So press that subscribe button, take a screenshot of your profile, email info@makera.com with that information. So that way we can go over the details with you. If you're somebody who want a shirt, we have to know what size and where to mail it. If you're somebody who want a gift card, we have to know what type of gift card, and we're going to send it to you digitally. And if you just got this coupon code, we'll send you a special code unique to you for your purchase. So congratulations to everybody that won some prizes there. And and listen, hopefully you enjoyed tonight. I think with that, we are almost out of time. So I want to again point out that we have tutorials for all the things that we just mentioned here. And I just want to show everybody where to find that stuff. If I can just bring up my screen again real fast. Here we go. Oops, that's roll off. Hang on one second.
That's me.
Why am I not? There we go. Sorry, technical difficulties at the end of the night. So this is our wiki site. Obviously on our YouTube channel, you can also find tons of tutorials broken down for getting started, live streams, Makera CAM, Carvera, all that fun stuff. But the wiki site has those things and more, right? Like if you're new to CNCs, I saw a lot of folks asking some simple questions because you're new to this stuff, like what is step over and what are, feeds and speeds. This is where to go. Getting started. These are not just for our machines. These are just general facts about CNC machines, production, how to do things safely, how to choose the right bits, all this stuff. And then of course, how to unbox your machines along with roll off here, right? And of course, we also have how-to videos to break down how to use our different machines, everything from connecting to using the probes. And of course, that's for both the Carvera Air and the Carvera, right? So these break things down. And also tutorial videos for Makera CAM, which we're constantly updating because we're doing a lot of new features for Makera CAM on a pretty regular basis. So we're constantly adding Makera CAM tutorial videos. But the place to go for the things that we mentioned tonight is the knowledge sharing page. So this is where you can grab all of our full project tutorial videos. These are a little bit longer. These aren't just like a quick how-to video for the machine. These are, making the bottle openers, puzzles, games, all the different stuff that we like to showcase and things like that. And then this is where you can grab all of those files, right? So we're going to post the bottle opener project in just a little bit. Also that tabletop game project, but here's where you can grab the files that Roloff used in the project tonight. And of course, any other files. And I saw a lot of folks from education. We also have a lesson plan series with more on the way. So we have full lesson plans with pacing that are standard aligned with different handouts and rubrics and assessment resources for your students too. And there's a lot more coming, guys. So we love that fact that you guys all joined us here tonight, and we appreciate you joining us. And we also love the fact that you guys are constantly throwing more ideas at us, what you want to see. So let us know what you want to see. Let us know what types of projects you want to learn how to do, what types of content you're looking at what to do. We are constantly adding new content, new projects, new resources to teach and collaborate with all of you. So stay tuned for a lot more coming, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. I think you summed it up quite nicely. Everything's available. Cool things to come. This is only the start of us. Our 2 machines that we have, there's some more things that's coming. A vacuum that's coming. We don't have a timeline for that. A solid timeline for that yet, but that's exciting things that's coming. I saw a few comments on that. But everybody that was here, thank you so much for participating. I think it was once again a successful stream. It was actually good to actually make some things. We can talk a lot. Me and Jason, we can sit here and talk we'll talk there hours about just CNC machining, but we're actually doing, actually making some things and actually assembling and putting things together.
Oh, Roloff, you really want to do that 24-hour stream, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to sit next to a mill and just make things for 24 hours.
I'll be happy to do that anytime.
All right then. All right then.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Roloff, it's been a pleasure. It was good seeing you. Awesome job tonight.
I think just to show everybody that our bottle opener actually works, I do have a drink. I do have a cool drink here, and that pops right open. So
cheers.
Thank you very much, guys. And that's the bottle opener. I hope you enjoy the stream. And yeah, thanks, Jason.
Folks. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Roloff. And thank you, everybody. Have an awesome night or a great day wherever you are in the world. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Bye, folks. Cheers.
Bye-bye, guys.